and put in file inside, and then it became, I think at the end of the day, it became sort of like a copper inside.
Tony Iommi is a guitarist from the United Kingdom. He was the guitarist, co-founder, and frontman of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath for over 5 decades, serving as the band's principal songwriter and lone constant member. Iommi was named 25th on Rolling Stone magazine's 100 Greatest Guitarists of All Time list. As a youngster, on his last day of work at a sheet metal foundry, Iommi lost the tips of his right middle and ring fingers in an accident, altering his playing technique significantly. He temporarily left Black Sabbath, then known as Earth, in 1968 to join Jethro Tull, but the band didn't record anything and he rejoined Black Sabbath in 1969. He debuted as a solo artist with 2000's Iommi, followed by 2005's Fused, which included former bandmate Glenn Hughes. Following the release of Fused, he joined Heaven and Hell, which split in 2010 following Ronnie James Dio's death.
Well, I was always very careful with it. I mean, I really was, and I'd always, on the flights, always have it with me. Never shoved it in the hole.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Anthony Frank Iommi, but is also known as Tony. He was born February 19, 1948 in Birmingham, England, making him 74 at the time of this production. He stands 6 feet tall. Iommi has been keeping himself busy. He's heavily involved in fundraising for cancer charities since his battle with the disease, and with the knowledge that he can now be a homebody for the foreseeable future, for the first time in decades, he's rekindled an old indulgence: collecting cars. A hobby that began in the 70s but was curtailed when Sabbath began touring heavily. He's also been thinking about new music. He feels he has another book in him too, especially after the publishers of Iron Man cut swaths of material from an autobiography that still ran nearly 450 pages. Iommi married Susan Snowden in late 1973 after being introduced to her by Black Sabbath's then-manager Patrick Meehan. As Snowden came down the aisle, the song Fluff, an Iommi instrumental tune subsequently released on the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album, was played. John Bonham of Led Zeppelin served as Iommi's best man at the event. 3 years passed throughout the marriage. In a 1991 Guitar World interview, Iommi stated that the difficulties encountered during the recording and mixing of Black Sabbath's 1976 album, Technical Ecstasy, contributed to the breakdown of his marriage. In 1980, Iommi married American model Melinda Diaz. Tony Marie Iommi, the vocalist for the now-defunct band Lunar Mile, was born to them in 1983. In the mid-1980s, Iommi divorced Melinda. He gained custody of Tony Marie when she was 12 years old after being placed in foster care. Tony Marie has characterized her early life with a mentally ill mother as traumatic, but she believes her father ultimately saved her. She's mentioned that she was able to rebuild her faith in other people after meeting her father. In August 2010, Mikko Linde Lindström, guitarist for the Finnish band Him, became engaged to Tony Marie. The pair was rumored to have broken up in 2013. Iommi met an English woman named Valerie in 1986, and they married after a 6-year courtship. She has a son named Jay from a previous relationship. They filed for divorce in the late 1990s. Iommi acknowledged the existence of his son in the same Guitar World interview noted above, a co-interview with Metallica's James Hetfield. He informed Hetfield that, "My son handed me a CD of your current record," in reference to the band's so-called Black Album. Iommi married Maria Soholm in 2005, who was once the vocalist for the Swedish alternative metal band Drain STH. They first met in 1998 while Tony was composing music for Drain STH. Maria traveled to England in 1999 after a year of phone conversations. She took up residence in Tony's home. Maria and Tony married at the Sunset Marquis Hotel on August 19, 2005, without informing anyone. Tony refers to the low-key wedding as the best thing I ever accomplished. On page 312 of his book, Iommi was briefly engaged to rock musician Lita Ford, formerly of the Runaways. In the mid-1980s, Iommi co-produced her unreleased solo album, The Bride Wore Black. Ford has stated that her relationship with him at the time was completely personal and that he was not involved in the half-finished record. There's a certain degree of ill blood between Tony and I, she stated in a 1989 Kerrang interview.
A booster with it, and being a P90 single coil, it would pick up a lot of noise. So with the booster.
Anthony Frank Iommi was born February 19, 1948 in Birmingham, England. He was raised in a Catholic household by a family who owned vineyards in Italy and a shop in Aston. He first met Ozzy Osbourne as a young boy in school. Although Ozzy was 1 year younger than him, Iommi was picked on by local bullies, so he started studying martial arts at the age of 10 to protect himself. Tony initially wanted to play the drums, but he chose the guitar instead as it created less noise for his parents to deal with. During his teen years, Iommi started working in a sheet metal factory. After he started to experience success as a musician for the first time, he informed his superiors that he'd soon be quitting. For whatever reason, Tony was told to work on machinery that he had very little experience with during his last few weeks at work. An accident occurred one day, and Iommi lost the tips of his middle and ring fingers. He was 17 years old. Although Tony started off by playing in a wide range of rock bands throughout the 60s, it wasn't until he met up with Ozzy Osbourne, Bill Ward, and Geezer Butler that he achieved more notable success. This was the beginning of Black Sabbath. The group was eventually renamed Earth, and Tony departed briefly in 1968. However, by 1969, the group had come together once again, renaming themselves Black Sabbath. Iommi became an integral part of the group, helping to define their unique, heavily detuned sound. Although albums like Master of Reality, Paranoid, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath revolutionized rock music and helped usher in a completely new genre, Sabbath had trouble adapting to the changing music scene. Osbourne was eventually fired and replaced by Ronnie James Dio. Soon, Sabbath completely dematerialized with a number of members dropping out, including the newly hired Dio. Eventually, Iommi started releasing solo albums, starting with Seventh Star in 1986. Much later, Black Sabbath would reunite and tour throughout the 2000s, and they even released another album in 2013 titled 13. In 2000, Tony released another solo album called Iommi. In 2006, he started a new band called Heaven and Hell, which included all the members of Black Sabbath, minus Ozzy. This group has toured extensively with other bands like Megadeth, Judas Priest, and Testament.
The songs we had, and that was it. And it literally was that. We didn't go into, we've got to change this sound and do that a bit.
The estimated net worth of Tony Iommi is $140 million in the United Kingdom, who had made a famous guitar singer on the international level and grew up in our career. His name had become involved in this list of popular and successful singers in the world. They faced many difficulties growing in our career life. Furthermore, he was also making money from different ways of singing. Similarly, he makes money from attending the concert of the show in famous places. Also, he earns money from albums of recording pieces of music. Tony's net worth is estimated to be $140 million. In 2014, it was reported that Iommi was selling his home in England for $4.3 million. The residence is in Lapworth and includes 6 bedrooms with a square footage of 8,000 square feet. Other features include a home cinema, a billiards room, and of course a fully functional music studio. Outside, there are stunning fountains and sculptures that decorate the grounds. Cars you'll find in Tony Iommi's garage include a Lamborghini Espada, a Lamborghini Miura SV, and a Lamborghini Urus.